This is Judy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be working on another Scraptember layout, and I am going to be using a die cut, a bunch of die cuts actually, with this big circle one, and I had to turn on my Craftwell or e-bosser machine that I haven't used in forever, and I need to use it, right? You have so many of these things and I need to use these things. So I'm really glad that this prompt of Scraptember gets me going using these things that I don't use very much. Here is the Scraptember prompt. So I'm working on day 12, the cut, file, punch, and dies. I'm a little behind, but I'm trying to catch up. So this one's going to be a quick one. Well, not probably real quick, but it's only going to be encompassing die cuts and stamping and Distress Oxide inks and flip flaps. So it'll probably be a little more complicated than I'm thinking, but right for now I think it's going to be fast. So let's see how that works out for me, right? This is going to be my center, and I already cut it out, and I have this piece of white daisy. I don't know if I'm going to need it because I also want to use this paper. This is from the mixing collection from Close to My Heart. I am a maker, so I go through and try to recreate layouts and card inspiration from the catalog to help my customers use their products that they purchase from me, and other people who may have purchased these from anyone. You know, it's not just my customers. I want to inspire everyone. It's a great hobby. So bringing out the catalog, this is the layout that I'm going to use. Lots of die cuts and flowers. I have the stamp set and I haven't used it yet, so I really wanted to play with it, and this is going to give me that chance. I'm going to keep this by my side so that I can refer to it. And the photos are from a trip I took to North Carolina to visit my brother, and my daughter went with me, and we went to an azalea garden, and I've got lots of photos. I love taking photos of the flowers and all the foliage, especially things that we don't have where I live in New York. So I am going to incorporate flip flaps. So one will be going that way, and then I'll have one going this way. Whoops, that's the wrong way. And then one will be going up this way. So that'll be on the back. And then this rabbit, this was a wire statue that was there, and it was just incredible. I love looking at these art type sculptures when I go places. And then I found some of this mocha cardstock in my stash that was the perfect size, and it really goes well with the photos. There's lots of browns in these. But I'm also going to incorporate the colors that are in these. So you see a lot of greens, and the pink from the tulips, and this has some yellows and light, like I would say maybe papaya or peach, going by the colors in Close to My Heart world. And then this has the really light purple, very, very light purple, and then the yellow and that deep burgundy color. So those are the colors that I'm going to try to incorporate. And again, this paper was from the Mix-In paper pack from this catalog, and this is on the back. But I think I'm going to use this one to create my wreath. So I'm going to cut off the zip strip, and then I'm going to get my stamps out. Let me show you the stamps real quick. This is the stamp set, and this is at 75% of actual size, so they're even bigger. Just gorgeous. So all of these have coordinating die cuts. Let's see, every single one except for this stem has a die cut that coordinates. That is incredible. So I can cut all these pieces out, color them, stamp them with the color, and then use my Distress Oxides to color them quickly, and then get them down on my layout. The leaves I will probably put right on this base page, and then the rest of them I will cut out for layering. Cut the zip strip off, and now I'm going to attach this to my Versamat, and I put a little bit of glue or tape in the corners just to keep it attached down so that it doesn't move, especially since I'm going to be doing a lot of inking and stamping. And this thin cut that I used was not close to my heart. I don't know what company it's from. I've had it a long time, but it's the biggest circle I had to make a base for my wreath. And looking at this layout, I wanted to see what they used. So I'm bringing out the recipe book for this main catalog, and you can get this on my Close to My Heart website, stampinforever.closetomyheart.com. I'll put it up in the corner. And then you just find the page. It's page 78. So here we are, page 78, and it is actual size is an 8 by 10 Stop and Smell the Flowers page. And it gives me all the items that were used to create this layout. So they use that stamp set. Then they use our inks, the tri-blend markers, the melon sequins. First thing I want to do is get my template down. Now, this is going to be removed and then laid down afterwards. And then my flowers will go around the outside, but I needed it this big to be able to gauge where my flip-flaps are going to be. And my flip-flaps will fit on here just about perfectly. So I have to make sure that I leave room in these corners that do not interfere with the flip-flap itself. Take my pencil, and I'm going to lightly trace around here. And this will probably all be covered up. And I get these white erasers from Walmart, especially right now with school sales going on. You probably can find them really cheap. The white erasers are really good for erasing pencil without leaving those marks. Brought out my Distress Oxide, and I got Vintage Photo, Peeled Paint, Mowed Lawn, and Rustic Wilderness. And these are the colors I'm going to use around the outside with my branches and leaves. We're going to start with the biggest one first, and I'm going to go in that threes idea, and I think if I do 3 of each of these all the way around, that will pretty well fill it up. To get done with that, I'm going to also do some on White Daisy and then cut it out. So there you can see the 3s. If I can get second generation. Oh yeah. And this will be a filler. It's already looking so pretty. Looks good. All right, I've got one more, is this one. So let me clean this off. I brought in pumice stone to use for this little piece. So now I'm going to take all these stamps and I'm going to stamp them onto white and off-white or French vanilla cardstock. And then I'm going to color them with my Distress Oxide inks with blender brushes, and then we will layer them on here. I think it's going to be beautiful. I brought out my Intense Black, and I have the same green colors that I had before. I'm going to stamp these outline stamps with the black and then use the inks to color them in. And this is a piece of French vanilla left over from a Cricut cut that I did. If I look through my stamp, I can see when I have good ink coverage, and it looks okay. So I guess that was the only one I'm going to use the black ink with until I do the flowers. The next one, I'm going to do the green. Next, I'm going to take my water brush, and it has water in it, and this has been used so many times. It's discolored. I don't know if it's I was using something that made it like that, but they don't come this way. So I'm going to put a little bit of ink on my craft sheet here, and then I can pick it up and I can use its color. And I want a real loosely watercolor look with these. And when I cut them out with a thin cut, it'll just look gorgeous. So there's one. And I can mix the colors once they're on the sheet. And this is how if you don't like the color, this is so easy. You know, just add color in between. Make it actually look like it was on colored cardstock, right? Now I can go in and fill in a couple of these that were imperfect. So I'm going a little bit beyond simple coloring, but you could have stopped, you know, at the very beginning. I'm just adding a little more definition and character to the leaves. Definitely does not have to be that way. It would have been just perfectly fine the other way. I just love to color and play. All right, so I think that looks good. Actually, I'm going to add a little coloring to these leaves too. So much for a short video, right? But oh, I just love to do this. All right, now I will stop and we will move on to the flowers. All right, before I move on, I need to do these two branches. So again, we're going to use the Vintage Photo for the brown and the pumice stone for this one. I think I'll also make a couple of black ones and see how they look. Now let's add some color like we did with the leaves. So we'll use the Vintage Photo and the pumice stone. Now I'm moving on to the flower, and I'm going to do this large solid flower. It almost looks like a rose. So let's see how the mustard seed will do with it. So there's a lot of ink left on here, so let me pick the ink right off of there to fill in. They look pretty good now. So we'll get these cleaned up. Okay, the next one is this outline stamp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the other side, so it's on the reverse side of the way it is supposed to be stamped. And I'm going to add ink to this side, and that will give me a base to stamp onto. And I think I will do it either with, we'll try it with picked raspberry. which is darker than this Kitsch Flamingo. And then I can also do it with black. Let's even try another color. How about if we do speckled egg? So now I'm going to take it off the block and flip it over. And bring in the chipped sapphire. And we'll do that over the speckled egg. And this is not going to line up perfectly, and that's fine. Oh, I like that. I'm going to do black on it as well. Let's do the picked raspberry on the Kitsch Flamingo ones. That's really pretty. I'm going to bring in my intense black. Alright, so I'm going to do the rest of the flowers, and then I will come back and show you what I have done. So, do I think I went a little overboard? Yeah. Now, I forgot to stamp some of these large flowers, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I only used that one stamp set. I didn't use the other one at all. Alright, I picked out the colors I thought I would use with this layout. And I also put my photos in my flip flaps and onto the layout. So I'll show you what I have. So it'll open that way, and then it'll go up, and then it'll go over, and then it'll go up. And it could be different, you know, I could put them all there. A little bulky for where I have the flip flaps. So the two sideways ones are better to have over than the other way. But I kind of like like this, so that you do one, one, two, and then another one. So, and I like having this photo on the front. It's very eye-catching. So now what I need to do is layer my flowers according to, you know, how I have it here. This one came out really pretty. It was just stamped with the black, and then I used the Distress Oxide colors to color it, as I did with the leaves that you saw. And I don't have to, for sure, use all of these. I just have them out for me to see. I'm going to try to use the bigger ones first. I want to pull that other color here. So it has 1, 2, 3. This one is very big, so I want to make sure that it's not overpowering. And these ones I did a little outlining with my journaling pen. I also did some white ones. So this was the purple. It was really dark, so I outlined it with the white journaling pen. And those are going to be cute. Those will be the fillers. I think I like this. The only thing I have left is the greenery. So pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and start adhering these down. Let me pull in the catalog again and take a look at it. So this is the layout again. I like how they have it. They have a lot of bling interspersed throughout, so that is something I will definitely add at the end. All right, I went ahead and finished the layout almost, put down all my bling, and I used our Tombow adhesive to put everything down. That way, if I needed to lift it, I could wiggle it up and put things underneath it. So after I'm done with my metallic markers, I'll probably go in with glue and just glue underneath to make sure everything is set. But yeah, it's so cute. I just love it. And yes, I did do a tag down here. It says stop and smell the flowers. Of course, the S was covered up. The glue isn't quite dry, so I'm going to put a ink pad over after the video is done. But I brought out our Spectre Noir metallic paint markers, and these are brand new. I don't know if they were on the market before now. I didn't have them, and I love metallic markers, so I went ahead and picked them up, and I'm going to use the 0.7 millimeter. So I'm going to shake it up. It has a ball in it, and I'll do that and cut it out so you don't have to hear it. Okay, I shook it for a little bit. I'm going to bring in a piece of paper towel. Oh, and this metallic thread is not from Close to My Heart. It's something I had in my stash, but it was on my desk, so I'm using it. So you take the cap off, and you can see the real fine nib on it. So if you press it when they're brand new, it's clear. You press it until the ink bleeds out, and then it is good to go. And I just like to, oops, I pulled it right out. That's how you can pull it right out. I cleaned it off just to make sure there's not a lot on it when I go to use it. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to put some dots on like these berries here. And I'll do close up so you can see the metallic sheen that it gives these. It's just gorgeous. I'm also going to do a little bit of border lines around it because you know I got to have my border lines, and just to add to it to make it stand out and have that border line. And I'm going to use it on these leaves just to add a little more interest. And it takes just a second to dry, so if you use these, don't run your hand over it right away. This is just going to enhance the veins. Really shows up on that dark green. These are going to be one of my staples in my Christmas cards this year. All right, so I'm going to go and I'm going to just create a little bit of a notch there for my tag. And this will also enhance that gold with that thread. Okay, so again, when you draw journaling lines or border lines or whatever, you're going to want to drag your hand down on something slick like your craft mat to give you a good straight line. Okay, so I'm just going to go down. Oh, that writes so nice. And I want to do two. And I'm going to do a longer one here. And then a shorter one on the inside. Now this is the top, so I can actually do it a little bit more just to give it some more interest. And I like doing little hash marks there to just make it pretty. All right, so I'm going to go ahead along the bottom as well. So my layout is done. I really don't have any journaling to do because I have other layouts that are portraying the same trip, and I have more photos to do. But this is so pretty. Let me pick it up and show you some close-ups. And while I'm doing this, make sure that you go down to the video description and you can check out all the playlists for all the other people that are following along with this YouTube hop for today for Scraptember. Actually, I'm a day late, so you'll probably get videos from another day, but get the way that those Distress Oxide inks colored in. It's so pretty. Thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Get out those Distress Oxides and stamps and give it a try. And I'll be back with another video for the next prompt as soon as I can. Thank you. Have a great day.